way. It's been an eventful 3 years, that much is certain. But thankfully, we've had the wise words and lessons from leaders like Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King to guide us through these difficult times. 60 years ago, Dr. King shared his vision of racial justice. He vividly depicted a world where resources, opportunities, and relationships are built off a shared set of values. Because if we didn't learn the lesson of COVID, we are all tied and united together. Dr. King knew that. Many others have said it. But he understood that most dramatically. And his life and legacy was a testament to making sure that we saw each other as the children of God, and that we were united with a common sense of purpose. One of the previous speakers said, we may hail from different backgrounds, we may look a little bit different, but the thread of humanity that runs through us must be something that we never, ever forget. All of God's children. There must be a place for all of us. That was certainly Dr. King's dream. And as mayor, and especially as the only the third black person to hold this office in the 185-year history of our city, only the second woman ever to hold this office in that long history, I feel a special sense of responsibility to not only carry on this dream, but to turn it into reality for our residents that call this home. Yes, of course, we must be guided by our moral compass and our vision for what the perfect, the beloved community should be. But we've got to turn purpose into action every single day, because our people deserve no less. They deserve to see that our hard work is translated into acts. Because as a person of faith, I believe what the Bible tells us. Faith without works is dead. Faith without works is dead. So we have a certain responsibility, ladies and gentlemen, not just on this day and this weekend and on Monday, to make sure that we are uplifting the life and legacy of one of the greatest people that have walked amongst us. We have an obligation every single day, in the ways that we can, to make sure that we are living and fulfilling Dr. King's admonitions, his teachings. And if we do that, that is the way that his legacy will be real and manifest, not only in our lives, but in the lives of our children and the generations to come. We have that solemn responsibility to make sure that the dream isn't deferred, that the dream doesn't die, but that the dream lives on forever. To defend the dream, which is what the title of this breakfast is about, is to work hard every day to uplift the lives of the disinvested and the disadvantaged, to make sure that the full vestiges of citizenship to all of God's children who call our city home are real and palpable, so that our children can touch it and feel it and have a sense of ownership. Make no mistake, as I said before, Dr. King was a true patriot, a champion for our democracy, even in spite of himself, as Representative Thompson said, being in bondage. Even in spite of the fact that the instrumentalities of government at every level were turned against him, that were trying to thwart his path forward. He believed in the power of our democracy and brought that to us every single day. Because the true promise of America must mean that all who aspire to be free have room at every table of power. And of course, defending the dream means being unafraid to stare down injustice and tyranny and lies. And thank you again, Representative Thompson and every member of that committee for doing just that. Black man from a small town in Mississippi, cast upon one of the biggest stages ever, showed us what it means to have courage and conviction and leadership, to be a fearless fighter for the truth. To defend a dream is to face challenges head on and echo the rallying cry for change, just like our champion of freedom recipient, Mamie Till Mobley did. And after going through the deepest painful experience any parent could suffer, she courageously demanded that everyone look at what was done to her precious child. Many of us are old enough to remember seeing those photographs, Jet Magazine, Ebony, and elsewhere. We dared not look away. Horrifying to see. But she was trying to teach us. She was one of the original mothers of turning pain into purpose. Her grief urged us to rally together and fight for a better tomorrow. And we have to be heeding her call, because we are indebted to her and her legacy. That's why it's an honor for me to champion, as we did last year, the memorialization of the home of Emmett Till as a historical site. And I want to thank my colleagues in the City Council for voting to support. To defend agreements to act in service of higher power, like Pastor Kevin Ford does every day. Pastor Ford is a third-generation pastor who carries on the legacy of his grandfather, the late Bishop Ford, and who gave the eulogy at the funeral of Emmett Till. You see how we're stitching together the arc of our history here in our city. That legacy inspires Pastor Ford to infuse his faith into good work that is emphasized by his efforts at St. Paul Church of God in Christ to provide young black men and women with trade training, host food and clothing drives for those in need, provide resources to our elders, and this is how we fulfill our duty, to serve our neighbors. And we are grateful, Pastor Ford, for your shining example to all of us. Thank you, sir. And ladies and gentlemen, as I look out on this crowd, I see hundreds of examples of people of faith, pastors, reverends, priests, imams, rabbis, and of course, first ladies, who during the height of COVID-19 and the civil unrest raised their voices and gathered resources to protect our neighbors, our brothers and sisters in need. You open your doors to provide testing and vaccine clinics, food drives, vigils, and so much more. And prove that Chicago's neighborhoods flourish when our faith community is strong, active, and participatory. As Matthew chapter 25, verse 40 tells us, now if we were in church, I would say, turn with me in your Bible. That verse reads, quote, "Whatever you did for the least of these brothers and sisters of mine, you did for me." And this verse encapsulates and guides my life and my work. There are many others here today who have also answered to a call to serve and lead our major institutions and social services organizations. These leaders collaborate across neighborhoods and sectors to ensure that all of the support and resources and opportunities that our city has to offer is accessible to every resident. Ladies and gentlemen, you need to know that here and now in our city, we have more resources to do good, to turn around the fortunes of those who are in need, from our young people to our elders, to the homeless, to everyone who needs us to reach out and show friendship and partnership. And I commend all of you who understand that, who are on the front lines every single day, bringing that service delivery. Please know, if you didn't know before walking in this room, please know that you have a champion in me and my team and my administration. Because this is what bending the arc towards the arc of moral justice, arc of the universe towards moral justice, this is what this must look like in this time, in this place. And I am proud and humbled to be the mayor of a city filled with leaders and doers and defenders of the dream. I'm especially proud that during my tenure, we have built things to make sure that it's just not saying, it's doing. I'm proud of Candace Moore, our first ever Chief Equity Officer for the city. we not only have a value statement, that we live that value statement, and that that value statement is infused every single day in the work of every single city department. We understand that we must view our work through a lens of social justice, equity, and inclusion, have to have meaning in the work that we are doing, or we might as well go home. So thank you, Candace, for all that you do to make sure that we are doing our part to keep the dream alive. And in case you haven't heard, I am an unapologetic, and in the words of Shirley Chisholm, unbought and unbroken in my dogged insistence that we build black and brown wealth in this city. That we open up the corridors of wealth and opportunity and economic development to all who are able, to all who are willing. And I will not turn back. I will not bend down. I will not stop as some have demanded, because this is what we must do in this time. This is the righteous work of our life, and we must continue onward to make sure that we never go back, that we never return to the status quo, that we do everything possible so that my child and your children have hope and opportunity. Because when they have open opportunity, they value themselves. They value the sanctity of life of others. They have hope and respect in their hearts. And it helps us on them unlock the power of innovation so they can fulfill their God-given talent. That is the mission that we are on, and we must never, ever retreat. I'm reminded of a quote from Dr. King, which says, quote, "Faith is taking the first step even when you don't see the whole staircase." And even though the staircase to a racially just future is a long and steep one, and we don't even see the top because we're not there yet, it's one that we must ascend, and ascend it courageously, and make sure that we are intentional, and importantly, not pulling up the staircase behind us, but bringing others along, building that bridge over which others can tread. So defending the dream isn't just about the here and now, and it's not just about a reckoning with the past. It's about setting our sights on where we want to go in the next steps, the next day, into the future, boldly, courageously, because that is what must be done. We must make sure that we leave no one behind. Our homeless brothers and sisters, the returning residents, our elders, the displaced and the disadvantaged. You know this. People in our city are hurting. And we must continue to create opportunity so that hope springs in the morning. This is the work that we must be about. So I know that I stand between you and further fellowship and community. But I'm grateful every single day and humbled to be here as your mayor. It hasn't been easy. There are days, I won't lie, I go home and Amy has to pick me up, hold my hand, and tell me it's going to be all right. Yeah. And you know what? It always is. Because I'm the mayor of the greatest city. Yeah. Greatest time. Yeah, we got big challenges. And we also have tremendous opportunity and joy and love. And you people in this room are a big part of why we are special and different than any other place. So I want to say thank you. I want to say God bless you. And I want to say continue forward. The work must be done. Thank you all.
My name is Wallace Gator Bradley, and I'm the host of the Bradley Report. And I want my viewing audience to listen to this great black woman. Could you spell your name for them and say what church you're from?
My name is Fatima Traore, Fatima Traore. I'm from the African community, specifically the Malian community, working as a community leader with the mayor office, and I was happy to be here among all of the great leaders, and then I believe that the initiative is very great. What I have learned from here today is the importance of leadership, not only leadership but unity, because it was very diverse in the room, and that's due to a good leadership.
Right. You know, me personally, I've known what happened when Harold won the election in '83, and the importance when we in the city of Chicago had to come back and help him win re-election. And we knew about his plan of equity and inclusion that he had there. And then they got rid of the sitting Mayor Circle. And Daley came in and got rid of the plan. In my opinion, from what I've witnessed, Mayor Lori Lightfoot is carrying on the dream as well as the vision of the plan when you see her pushing equity and inclusion. How do you feel about that?
I feel like, I agree with what you're saying. However, more can be done as far as outreach to the minorities, which I'm a small business owner myself.
Right.
And when you speak about equity, are we working on it? Yes, we are. Can more be done? Yes. Yes. And we're looking to strive together for inclusiveness, more inclusiveness.
Right. Well,
yes.
One thing for sure, I know you got to go.
Yes.
But hey, to God be the glory.
Always.
And this is our story.
Yes.
We need to re-elect the mayor so she can do what? More.
She can do more. Thank you.
Thank you.
So that she can do more.
Right. You know, man, we was talking about the importance of the mayor's Invest Southwest.
Absolutely.
Okay? And could you let my viewing audience know who you are, spell your name?
Okay. Frank Brim, Director of Operations for the Bay Chicago. Brim, spelled B-R-I-M. On the west side of Chicago, man, trying to engage our young people academically as well as athletically, trying to holistically build our kids up, and we're doing some phenomenal things, and I'm so thankful for the mayor, the contribution she's made to our endeavors. She got my full support.
You know, and one of the things I want to say to you before my viewing audience, I got your numbers. We're going to work together.
Absolutely.
Being perfectly focused to let everyone know we can't afford, as a people, especially African Americans, to let Paul Vallis,
Oh, yeah.
that's supported by the Fraternal Order of Police, that's Trump influenced, as well as Willie Wilson, because he went to try to get their endorsement too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Okay. And everybody got a right to run. But we saw what happened with Harold Washington and what happened with Sawyer. And when we see African Americans, when I look at the candidates that's running, and you're gonna see one white and one Hispanic. And Chewy ain't did nothing for us neither, so we're not gonna get fooled on that one.
Right.
It makes one wonder, who's the hidden hand to make sure that those blacks stay in the race to dilute the black vote? So we speaking out to all the people, regardless of race, creed, or color, or political party.
As you said, everybody
And
can run.
right.
You know? But I say this always about the mayor. I say that you can say a lot of things, but she's kept every promise she made.
Ain't no question.
And so that's why I support her.
Ain't no question.
Until you show me otherwise.
Right, my man, I appreciate that. Hey, I'm Wallace Gator Bradley, and I'm the host of the Bradley Report. We at Mayor Lightfoot Martin Luther King breakfast, because she's the mayor of the city of Chicago, okay? And she had one of the greatest former chairman of the January 6th committee, Brother Bennett Thompson. Okay? But what's key, we have this young lady here. Could you give them your name, spell your name, tell them the name of your company?
Absolutely. My name is Tracy Bell. I am the owner of the FM Omni Channel, the only black-owned radio station here in Chicago. What's important is that of our listeners, we have more listeners, more voters, and the power to elect Chicago's next mayor. 35-plus-year-old African-American voters. We're located in a very multicultural district.
Right.
Our voters, our listeners, can elect the next mayor of this city.
You know, one thing, you just spell your name for me.
Tracy,
Spell your name.
Tracey, Bell, Bell.
And name your company again.
The FM Omni Channel, THE-FM, Omni, OMNI-CHANNEL radio station here in Chicago.
And one of the things that's important is also a registered voter. A black, let me say this, a businesswoman that happens to be black. And then we got another registered voter here. This brother Jerry Brooks. Jerry, spell your name for me.
J-E-R-Y, Brooks, R-O-O-K-S.
And the Steppers organization that you with.
Just the Gents. We one of the top 3 clubs in Chicago, Illinois. And we throw nice party and we always help each other out in the community.
But one of the things this is, y'all not just a club, the art and the culture of y'all being what? Steppers and walkers.
And walkers in the community.
You know, and also this is my first cousin. We don't go nowhere without coming to help inform the people the importance of why you got to come out and vote. Sometimes it make no difference who you're voting for. It's just that this time, we asking you to come out and vote to re-elect Lori Lightfoot as the mayor of the city of Chicago. We can't afford to let Paul Vallis, who's siding with fraternal of the police, and we know they're racist, to be able to take the city of Chicago because he and Willie Wilson are Trump-influenced candidates. This is serious. And like I read somewhere, this mayor walks it like she talking. To God be the glory. That's our story. And we're going to work together to inform the listening public to the truth of what's happening, as opposed to the misinformation, the disinformation, and the mainly big lie when people saying that she ain't doing nothing.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Thank you.
Absolutely.